In today's video, I'm going to be asking, how did Sadiq Khan become Mayor of London for a third term? How did he win last year's London mayoral election? Well, I think it comes down to a charity. That's right, it might sound a little bit odd. I certainly don't think it was Sadiq Khan's charm or his success or record on crime. I think most people know that he's been an absolute disaster for London. And you now hear a lot of people say anecdotally, I don't know anyone that's voted for Sadiq Khan. So how did he win? Well, this is where I think the charity comes in. And it's important to emphasise that the left, to set the scene of this charity, the left really know the importance of the youth, particularly the youth vote. And if you examine most left-wing activity, it involves getting young people on sides, whether that's trying to mobilise young people for activism or lower the voting age, which is something there's an attempt to do at the moment, because leftists know that young people are really good campaigners and the main ones that can really sell their politics. So here's where this youth democracy charity, as it is, comes in. It's called My Life, My Say. Most people have never heard of My Life, My Say. I've written and spoken about it quite a few times. It's one that I have to keep repeating, not in a patronising way, just quite simply because I have to try and elevate the profile of this charity to make people realise its importance in helping Sadiq Khan win. The charity's CEO last year is called Mete Koban. So he was the charity's CEO. He's now a director. And he is also now, since departing from his CEO role, Sadiq Khan's Deputy Mayor of the Environment. And when he was CEO of the charity, he was Hackney Council's cabinet member for the environment. And Hackney is run by the Labour Party. In spite of all this, a Labour councillor was CEO of this youth democracy charity, My Life, My Say. So he was running it, and it says it's non-partisan, but let's just take that for starters. It was run by a Labour councillor. And who helped that Labour councillor set up his youth democracy charity? Well, it was Alistair Campbell. Alistair Campbell helped Mete Koban set it up over a decade ago. Mete Koban, according to his Twitter account, approached Alistair Campbell. He wanted to get involved in politics, and Alistair Campbell helped him set up this youth democracy charity. And the other person that was interested in the youth democracy charity was Tony Blair. Tony Blair partners with My Life, My Say. So what does My Life, My Say do? Well, it just tells young people that their vote matters, and it runs democracy cafes. And when I first looked into it, I just was a bit perplexed by the whole thing. What on earth was a youth democracy charity? It's not like a charity for cancer. It's not like a normal conventional charity. Doesn't really feel like a sort of thing that a charitable enterprise should deal with, getting votes. I couldn't work out why Tony Blair was interested in it. I couldn't work out why Alistair Campbell was so interested in it, regularly attending its events. And now I feel like an idiot because it's about votes. The whole point of the charity is to get votes. Because what do young people do? Right. When they vote, they typically go for left-wing parties. If you're young, it's the worst thing in the world. I know people are talking about, the new Gen Z generation, they're getting really right-wing and whatnot. Well, it's a bit like when people say that about them not drinking. I kind of half believe it. But pretty much for a long time, if you're young, it's cool to be left wing, okay? It's the default. So that's why young people are so important to leftists to mobilise. And the charity just repeatedly went on at them, your vote matters. It's all kind of under the guise of telling them how important democracy is, young people, you exercise your vote. But I wonder how much leftists care about democracy if they met a young person that said, yeah, I think I will vote for reform actually. Then I think you might find that they don't like democracy so much when that young person goes to vote. And the charity is extremely well funded. And here's the weird thing. It received $90,000 from the US Embassy in London. And that was when the Democrats were in power. And there was clearly an attempt, a transatlantic attempt. I can't go into all the details in one video, but they clearly were working together, the Democrats and the Labour Party, to create an alliance. And in the UK, Labour did its part of the deal, but then Kamala Harris flopped. So the alliance has been half lost. But don't worry, they will try to salvage it. The other people that funded, or the other institutions that funded the charity are Quakers, so the Joseph Rowntree Reform Trust and the National Lottery Community Fund. This is a really well-funded charity. It's how the left try and get votes. And by all indications, it worked. Not least because they bribed young people to vote in last year's election with free Ben & Jerry's ice creams. The really uber woke Ben & Jerry's, which is interfering hugely in our politics. It is extremely left-wing and it's all over the place in the UK. So I can't emphasise the importance of this charity enough. It is a nudge unit. It is about getting bums on seats, right? I believe democracy is important. I believe it's important for young people to know about politics. And, I love politics. I got into it when I was young. I do not believe in the bums in seats mentality, though. I do not believe that if someone has absolutely no interest in it or knows absolutely nothing, that you should try and coerce them to a voting station by way of a free ice cream. I mean, that's just wrong. And this is what's happening. It's a bums on seats mentality. So that's how I believe Sadiq Khan partly won. They mobilised the young people. They got influencers like Amelia Dimboldenberg from Chicken Shop Date. She put out a message telling young people to vote. So this is how I believe a lot of the votes were nudged. And to end on this note, the charity is currently working with the Labour Party and they have a campaign to get votes for under 18s, to 16s. So keep an eye on that.